What's going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Blam back with another video. How is everybody doing this beautiful Friday afternoon, man? So yeah, got a great video today. Got another video lined up for you guys. I told you guys I'm going to be pumping these videos out more regularly on the channel to give you guys content in between the podcast. But speaking of the podcast, we will be live this Sunday. The Shop Podcast episode 360 will be live this Sunday, 3 p.m. AZ time, 5 p.m. EST. Once again, I do understand people are still getting used to the different day and time. So, you want to help with that, retweet the link, let everybody know that's the new day and time the Shop Podcast will be on. But today is a bit of a different video because one thing I do not do on this video usually, excuse me, are reviews. I don't really do reviews. I might have just quick thoughts on games, and I might have only one semi-review, and I believe that was back when I played Diablo 4 after I first played it. So this is actually, while it's not a formal review, it's not something you're going to get from actual reviewers on YouTube. It's just my quick thoughts into a game that I'm really enjoying. And obviously, as you can look at the thumbnail, we're talking about Avowed. So I am 10 hours into the game so far, and my God, this is absolutely my current game of the year. I know we're still early. It's only barely still February, but as of right now, this is absolutely my game of the year. And huge kudos and shout out go out to Obsidian because, like I said it before, they're extremely underrated developers. A lot of people, when they were part of that initial deal, that batch of developers that Xbox got, I believe it was 2016, 2017, they were part of that deal. People didn't really look at them a lot. I remember hearing people talking about they were kind of a throw-in and they didn't expect much from them. Obviously, people were short-sighted. If you looked at the history with Pillars of Eternity, obviously Fallout New Vegas, they had the talent and the goods. They just needed the resources, and they've delivered. As soon as they got to Microsoft and realized, hey, we got a bunch of resources, money, we can really do the things that we want to do. This is the quality, and these are the kind of games I expect from them going forward, and they've been able to do that, even with the previous games they've come out with. So, and Avowed, in my opinion, is one of the best RPGs I've played. Now, to be fair, you guys do know I am a bit of a RPG noob. So when I look at Avowed, I've seen some of the critiques going around the internet. I just don't have a base for those critiques because I have not played enough RPGs to really make a critique as far as in depth as some people can. But I can make a couple generalities. And I do understand what the game's goal was. And I think that's a lot of the issues with what I've been seeing about Avowed online is that I think there's some miscommunication. I just think people's expectations, some people thought it was Skyrim. Some people thought it would be this super immersive, super detailed, ultra large open world. And that's just not the kind of game that Obsidian decided to make. They absolutely went the Outer Worlds route and they just expanded on that already good formula. Outer Worlds was a great game. I didn't play much of it. I played a little bit of it. But once again, back then, I wasn't playing a whole lot of RPGs. So this seems like they've taken the ideas from that formula and just taken them up to another notch. And we'll see what happens with Outer Worlds 2. But I am thoroughly enjoying Avowed. And just some quick pros to Avowed. And some of the biggest things for me that I've seen is, one, the game is beautiful. I'm not the biggest graphics guy, but this game is awesome. It's running in UE5. I believe the latest version of UE5. And the fact that Obsidian can get UE5, which this engine has been notoriously difficult to dev for this entire generation. We got some pretty UE5 games that have come out completely unplayable. And for this to come out, and on console, they got 3 different FPS modes. On PC, it runs flawlessly. I know some people have had some issues here and there, but by and large, there's already been 2 patches, and the game's been out a couple of days to the public, and it already got a bunch of patches out. They fixed a bunch of things, but the fact that they had those options right out the gate, I'm playing the game on my Series S, yes to potato, and it's ran flawlessly. No issues, no frame rate issues, or anything like that. So the game's run beautifully. It looks fantastic. I love the art direction and art style, and if I can, I'll probably throw in a bunch of clips and bunch of pictures. It is a very, very pretty game. Even running on this S, I can imagine having a high-end rig. It is a beautiful game, from the scenery to the water to the rocks, to everything. Just feels like you're in a painting, like a watercolor painting. The colors are so vibrant. It very much reminds me of like that Avatar palette. the very bright neon colors. It's not the typical like high fantasy, dark, dreary, Dark Souls, Elden Ring, washed out grays and reds. No, it's a bunch of colors, pretty much the entire rainbow, from the enemies to the trees, to the structures, to the rocks, to the water. It's so much different things to see, and they did a great job with that. Now, obviously, the other highlight for me, and one of the biggest things I wanted to know about first seeing it, and what drew me to Avowed, was the combat. Because when we saw the very first Avowed trailer, the guy drew that symbol with his hand and had the sword in the other hand. I was like, yeah, this is going to be different. So I was always interested to see how they were going to implement that. And I think they did a phenomenal job. I love the fact, now, let's be fair, there's not a ton of different weapons. Okay, there's about probably 15 different specific weapon types. There are variations of those weapons. You got uniques. You got different quality levels of those weapons. But I don't think that's what they were going for. The cool part about this, and why this works in a game like this, is because you can mix and match those weapons. You can go 2-hand gun. You can go 1 gun, 1 sword. You can go 2-hand mace if you want to do the just one weapon, one single weapon for more damage, more power. You can do a wand plus a knife, a dagger. There's so many variations, and you can have 2 classes available and ready on the fly, which is, I think, is another awesome thing too. And the combat, super fast, super punchy. I was super surprised about the mobility. That was another thing I did not expect your character to be so mobile, being able to dash in and out, being able to sprint in and out, sprint around the entire map. Thank God they don't have a stamina meter for the sprint button. It would lose my mind if they did. So combat's there, scenery's there, driven narrative as well too. I love the real life choices that you have to make in a story that actually affect the drops you get, how characters treat you, what happens next. They really change the outcome of the entire story. So my playthrough will be completely different than someone else's playthrough. So from top to bottom, this is a full plate. They really cooked, and I'm super proud of Obsidian for making this game. I guess I could give it a rating. I'd probably rate it a 9.5 out of 10 for me personally. Just everything is there. If you're not super duper deep into RPGs, this is very approachable too. You don't need to know about the specific characters and the background and the lore to get into it. It's very approachable and palatable. So once again, you guys let me know down in the comment section what you guys think of Avowed, how you guys are enjoying the game, if you're enjoying it at all, some of your pros and cons, gripes and frustrations as well as once again this Sunday, the Shop Podcast 360, we will be back this Sunday, 3 p.m., 5 p.m. EST. Check us out. But other than that, peace out, everybody.